The Nintendo Switch 2 is officially 1 year old. This week we're looking back at our first year with Nintendo's latest console. What surprised us, what disappointed us, the games we've loved, and whether the Switch 2 has actually earned a permanent place in our gaming lives. We're also checking in on May's Pixel Replay game, revealing our next community replay for June, and sharing more thoughts on 007 First Light. All this and more on this week's Pixel Parents podcast. Hello and welcome to the next episode of the Pixel Parents podcast, the show that discusses all things gaming from the perspective of parents. I am your host, Liam Kelvin, and today, I'm of course, joined by the bearded one, Scott, the OG tastemaker curry. How are we, Scott?
I bless the rains down in Africa, Liam. I bless the rains. Having wet weather in my life has changed it fucking substantially. No longer having this stank ass heat every day.
No more swamp ass.
My balls have never been drier, and it's been great. You know, I can't complain about it. We've just come off the back of an excellent state of play from PlayStation as well, so we're all rejuvenated and excited about the future in video games. And yeah, I'm excited to see what the rest of the week holds with the fucking Summer Games Fest. I was going to say the Game Awards, like some fucking idiot. Summer Games Fest and the Xbox Showcase. I'm pretty excited to see what the offerings are there. And personally speaking, I am tired, Liam. I think that as this show goes on, people are going to see the decay of this man. I'm going to become Spider-Man at the end of fucking whatever Marvel movie that was. I'm going to crumble away into dust and just become memories in someone's taint. Because I am goosed. But how are you, more importantly?
Good. I think we're tired because you mentioned State of Play. We were doing what most adults struggle to do, which is to stay up past their bedtime, but we did it in the good name of Pixel Reacts. So there's an episode just before this one, if you go on your feed, where we're sharing everything about State of Play. It was a good one. You should go check it out. That's always plugging. I feel like The Rock. But yeah, it's been a bitch of a week. So that's probably the only way I can say it. Like, it's been busy, but grateful. And we'll always remain grateful to be busy, but I won't lie, it's tiring. It's very tiring. So it's just been like a constant hamster wheel of just like, I think we're over the hump of stuff, and it just keeps on getting worse. But that's all boring work related things, but it happens. It swings and roundabouts. But bar that, it's an exciting week. Gamer Christmas, I believe you said on Blue Sky, which is a very apt way to put it. And yeah, we've got this episode, which will be hitting all you lovely people on Friday, but that Friday night we'll be doing our Pixel React for Summer Game Fest.
One or two in the morning or something like that for that.
I think it's 10 actually, but Jeff Keighley probably
after it's all done, said and done, we'll be recording that heavy late.
Yeah, thank God it's a weekend. Pray for me as I go shoe shopping for my children on the Saturday. But we've also got the Xbox Game Showcase on the Sunday, which is a bit more at our own pace. The Xbox care because it's at 6 o'clock. Do you hear me, everybody? 6 o'clock. That's what we want in this 10 o'clock pish. You know what I mean? We want sleep as well. God damn it, we want sleep. But I'm hoping, I'm looking forward to it like you. Like, there's lots of announcements. September and October is a shit show. I have no idea how people will play any of these games, let alone how the fuck people are going to review some of these games. There's just an absolute deluge, and we've still got more to see, which is a very, very good problem to have, I suppose. There's too many games as always, but it's going to be a good old time. I'm just hoping that Summer Game Fest, we spoke about it in last week's episode, we did our predictions again, go check that out if you haven't heard already. I'm just hoping that it's not like 2 hours worth of show where about 90% of it is just absolute guff, but I'm going to lay off on Jeff until after the show. I want to be eating some crow, Scott. Eating some sweet crow.
I mean, I'm not one for criticising that man, so I'll keep my mouth shut, as it probably should remain in some cases.
But we'll tell him how it is because we have absolutely nothing to offer him. There we go.
Aye, until I
As a
see him
little
face
jab.
to face at the Game Awards 2036, and I'm like, sorry, Jeff, mate, I was just kidding on, man.
He'll just get you up on stage and like publicly scant you or something like that. Like everybody laugh at his ass, you know. Like, sweet revenge. But yeah, we've got a cool show lined up this week. Got some games we want to chat about. We've also got to mention the Pixel Replay for June. We're going to catch up on Bayonetta that we've had for May's first ever Pixel Replay. But it's also like birthday time. Nintendo Switch 2, year old already. I'm looking forward to kind of catching up on that because I can't quite believe it's been a bloody year. But before I do, I'm going to get some housekeeping out the road. So whether you're old or new, this is the Pixel Parents Podcast, which is a weekly gaming show by parents discussing all things gaming whilst raising little ones. You can get new episodes every Friday on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. So please, if you can, subscribe to us on YouTube so you don't miss these very, very tired faces. You can also check us out in Blue Sky, pixelparents.bsky.social. Email us at pixelparentspodcast@gmail.com. You can also support the show for free at patreon.com/pixelparents. You'll get bonus shows, all the community chats. It will cost you £0 all the time. And whatever you do, give us a share, 5-star review, anything. Thank you. It really does help us out. And we continue to just light up as soon as anybody gets in touch with us. Now, Scott, before I go on to the main topic, I did mention off the bat there, and I'm just reminded that people can write into this show. People can indeed write into this show. And we did get a lovely listener/viewer right into us last week. And I'm just trying to dig out what they had wrote into us, Scott. Whilst I do that, vamp for a little bit, just whilst I dig this out just
Oh, Vamp, Christ. Speaking of Vamp, one of the boss characters from Metal Gear Solid 2, he kidnaps Emma Emmerich, who is Hal Emmerich's sister, and takes her deeper into the big shell where she is scared of the water because he floods it, and she doesn't want to swim because she has a lot of trauma from a death in the family due to drowning. So you, as Raiden, have to save her from said vamp and bring her back. Not only is she scared of water, Liam, she's also scared of bugs. So you have to use the coolant spray to get them away, which is a pain in the arse. Once you have saved her from that water, you have to then help her cross the connecting bridge underneath the big shell. And you're doing that with a sniper rifle along with Solid Snake, who is maybe still in the guise of Iroquois Pliskin. Can't remember. And yeah, it's a fun old time had by all, which has kind of made me want to play Metal Gear Solid 2 all over again. So there's that.
We never know, but we'll see what happens at the end of the show. When that might come out the hat, we'll see. It's in the hands of the gods at this point, but managed to dig it out. We did get a lovely little bit of listener mail in from Adam, different Adam. And I'm not going to read the entire thing out because I like to keep some stuff just for me and Scott. You know, maybe we're all just sharing cheat codes together. But he writes in to say, emailed in a few months ago just to ask for our advice on buying a Steam Deck. And he's very happy to report that his fiancée surprised him with one around 3 weeks ago. So he'd been saving up for a few months and it's allowed him to put some money into games, which we do love to hear. He says, I wish I'd bought one sooner because I haven't turned my PS5 on since getting my Steam Deck. Having never played any Souls-like, I've started with Dark Souls 1, but also replaying Titanfall 2, Splinter Cell Blacklist, and GTA 4. Haven't got into emulation yet, allegedly, but I'm definitely going to set up and start replaying some old Pokemon games, allegedly. But yeah, just wanted to give a shout out to Adam. I thought that was a very, very excellent email to get in, just to hear that, you know, another one that's coming to the side of handheld gaming greatness, especially the Dark Souls 1 part. I'm also playing that on Steam just now. And do you know what? It's excellent in handheld. It really is.
I don't think I can buy it on another console, Liam. I don't think I can bring myself to do it. But
you may as well.
If you're saying that it's good, I might as well do it. It's good to hear that. I think that when he sent the original message over, I didn't have the Steam Deck yet, so I was still in the anti-handheld gaming establishment. PC handhelds are the devil's work, but having since bought mine, it's probably the thing I've played most this year. You
Yeah,
know, like
yeah,
since I've bought it, I would say, and it's an incredible wee piece of kit. Once you start emulating things, allegedly, start modding and things like that as well, like the possibilities are endless with it. To be honest,
yeah, yeah.
the hardest part about owning a Steam Deck is trying to figure out how the fucking thing works most of the time and what you can do with it, and using desktop mode and finding things and using all that. But smarter people than us have put guides all over the internet. So if you're ever stuck for something, yeah. And one thing I will say is, God bless Steam. God bless Steam sales, because I don't need these games. As I say, I don't need the Kingdom Hearts trilogy, but I own it. I own it again. So
Yeah, you might as well, I suppose, if you
why
can.
not?
I think what I would say is a good point you mentioned. All this talk of alleged emulation, YouTube is a savior if you're allegedly wanting to get into that. It's definitely, it can help you, allegedly. That's all I'll say at this point. But it's a good selection of games he's got there. I think it's a good mix. It's got something a little bit, for the masochist, the Dark Souls 1, Titanfall 2 for that first person shooter hit. A very good 6 out of 10 campaign. You've got a Splinter Cell Blacklist as well, which is a very underrated entry in the series. And
I
of
can't even
course,
remember
GTA
which
4.
one that is. Blacklist.
I believe it was the last one they released. It was about 2012, 2013, I want to say. It came out, in fact, probably even
It
sooner
was.
than
That
that.
was the Mad with a sort of running gun one. I never played that one. I kind of
It
fell
was,
off I fell off Splinter Cell when it became quick.
yeah.
I think the last one I played was Double Agent, and then I was like, aye, I've had my fill with this.
Excellent games. I mean, that
Oh
might be
yeah,
something I'll keep my eyes peeled for on Steam, actually. It's a good shout. I'm going to have a
yeah.
look to see if there's a Splinter
I
Cell
think I
sale.
will do too. I think I will do that as well.
But I thought we'd just is there any other games, maybe one or two games we could recommend to Adam on his handheld journey, just specifically ones that are really good to play on the go or ones you might have
On
had
the
your eye
go.
on?
I mean, a lot of the games that I've played on there are stuff that we've either played for the podcast or I've sort of picked up here and there and not really played much. Mina the Hollower is an absolute dream on that. Like, it runs fucking excellently.
Yeah.
I've been playing a bit of The King is Watching. That's good as well. I'm trying to open my Steam Deck, but it's out of battery. So I've got that there too. What else have I been playing on it? Try to think of my library. Pretty much everything that you buy, it runs great. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you're seldom having any difficulties with it, and it tells you if you're going to have any problems with it as well.
Yeah.
You go over yours. I'm going to bring my Steam thing up so I can have a quick look and see.
Well, I'm going to pay it forward with my first one because it was recommended to me when I first got my Rogue Ally, and that was from Alex. And I'm going to pass this recommendation on again because it was tremendous, and that was Mini Shoot Adventures. I think that is a perfect game to play handheld, and it definitely helped ease me in to the whole PC handheld space, which is great. You can pick that up fairly decent price on Steam. And I think another one that's kind of off the back of my head, which is now just that. Oh, that was it. For something older, and it's one that I've been playing myself, is actually Batman Arkham City. But I've also got Arkham Origins there, which is probably, it's the ugly duckling of the series, but it's you can usually get like the Batman like Arkham games pretty cheap in a bundle. What I would say is beware of Arkham Asylum. There seems to be an issue with starting it up on Steam. That's all I would say. And I speak from experience. So quite gutted on that. The other thing, and it's not a game, is to check out PX Play, I think it is, which is the PlayStation Remote Play application that you can download. And I believe there's a way that you can get it on Steam Deck through Linux. I know I managed to get it through Windows myself, but that thing runs the PlayStation better than the Portal for remote play. It's insane. So I can't sing its praises enough. And so that might be a way to circumnavigate the whole switching on the PS5. Again, you can do it through the Steam Deck and you
Through
can
the
have your
Steam
cake
Deck.
and eat it.
Yeah, no, 100%. Off the back of that, I think that if you're into those kind of games, Mugenics is a no-brainer, especially if you want something to sink your entire life into. Fields of Mystery, I've fallen into the trap, Liam, and yeah, I'm trying my hardest to come straight back out of it again because I don't need that in my life. And a wee game, if you're into puzzle games, there's a game called the Isles of Sea and Sky that I played on there for a good bit, kind of a couple of months ago, which is
Yeah.
an excellent wee game. I'd recommend that to everyone, to be honest with you. It's dead cheap. cool art style, and it's kind of it's quite straightforward, but it kind of works that puzzle gameplay into it really well. So worth
Mhm.
checking out.
Excellent. Well, Adam, please keep us posted on your handheld adventures, and everybody else be like Adam. You can write in anytime you want, pixelparentspodcast@gmail.com. Thoughts, rants, asks, anything. It's always lovely to hear from you guys. But Scott, digress, I'll move on now. So, as we said off the bat, it's Gaming Christmas with lots of new reveals. But I want to talk about what we're playing today. So, I want to kick things off with 007 First Light. I talked about it last week. We've both played. I've now finished it. But I know you've also picked it up, and I'm dying to know, what have you made of the game?
I think it's good, Liam.
There we go.
I think it's
Up the
good.
road.
That's it. Well done, IO Interactive.
Yeah.
I think that I'd rather do anything but shoot in the game, but I think that when you get the license to kill, everything kind of as it should, kind of shit hits the fan, and you kind of have to make it up as you go along, which kind of is the reason why you're given license to kill.
Yeah.
But it's hard like that when in that first instance when you're given that, it's impossible. I must have died about fucking 8 or 9 times just trying to
God,
get
yeah.
through that one section that kind of brutalized it. And that I kind of finished up there. So I finished the first main mission, like
Yep.
the one we've seen in the trailer, the chess tournament, which was cool. Like all the different avenues that you explore and all the different sort of permutations that kind of come into play as you're going through. And yeah, it was brilliant. Characters are all
Yeah.
great. I enjoyed the montage. I think it was built up a little bit more in my head to what I thought it was going to be like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Still cool nonetheless, but I think that it's a really good way of doing it. Like you're not dragged through it. It kind of it's like a small push. It's like
Yeah.
pushing you
Fizzes
along, which is
past.
nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
which I enjoyed. And yeah, as you said last week, every single character has purpose. You know what I mean? Like there's no characters in here that are not useful to the story. Um, Patrick Gibson
Yep.
his Bond is great so far. I've got no complaints with him. Everyone is very English, which you know
As it should be with a
as they
Bond game, I
should be with a
suppose.
Bond game. Yeah, and yeah, it is what it is. You know what I mean? That's just part and parcel of what you come to expect from Bond. But no, I think that from what I've played so far, it's great.
Yeah.
The only reason why I haven't played more is because I've been playing something else.
Which
Otherwise,
we'll
I'd
get
have
to.
battered through it. Like I think I'd have bloated my way through the game. But I'm excited to get back to it. To be honest with you, like it's
Yeah.
one that I think that, as you say, this weekend I think I'm going to spend a bit of time just getting through the story of it because I'm excited to do it and see sort of what happens as well.
Yeah. I mean, there's a few things I want to touch on with it. I think off the bat, I'm going to come with my score for it. I suppose I would give it a 9 on our scale, which is absolutely very, very impressive for a first go. I think it left me just wanting to continue. I'm going to just stay away from story beats and all the rest of it because I think it's a game that should just be enjoyed as it is. What I would say is, I think I had got it in my possession last Tuesday, and I pretty much played it every evening, maybe bar one or two. And I managed to finish that on the Saturday night, which I was really, really pleased with. And why do I touch on that? I think this is almost like the perfect AAA game, I suppose, in my head. Something that is a very self-contained story. It's on rails, but it's also got a little bit of openness within there as well. And it's something that I think that we talk about the respecting time aspect. So if you're any kind of grown-up gamer, you're juggling all the rest of the stuff that we always harp on about, this is exactly the type of game I think that should be on your radar because it's not going to command too much. And you might think, man, I want more than a week out of it. I think that, the normal gamer out there is going to get more than that out of it. I should stress, I mean, I sat here, as soon as I put the kids to bed and stuff, and I would just sit there for a good, 2-3 hours sessions a night, except the Saturday night, I probably sat there. I stayed up a bit late, Scott, till about, 20 past 1 because I was feeling it. It's like, this is the end. I can feel it. We all know when it's reaching the crescendo, which again is good because it showed that they understand Bond and it wasn't going to overstay its welcome. And it played out like any other Bond movie would, so they got the pacing just bang on. But I think this is just something that in a world and in a season where we're getting lots and lots of big games, and they're all staying out the way of one big massive game in November, Grand Theft Auto. It's a bit of a rare diamond, you know, to kind of come across like something like that, and it harkens back. And I think all the praise it got, you know, I talked last week about Uncharted. You know, it echoes what everybody else has been saying. There's such a gap there for that just now. You know, I think we're all kind of crying out for it a wee bit, and I found it quite, not the word shocking, I was irked slightly, you know, just to see the usual, you know, fucking acorn pillars on on social media complaining about the fact that the game's, it's only 15 hours. I'm like, well, that's all right for a game of that quality. Plus, you got the tax sim stuff, and if I wanted to, I've got the platinum run sitting there, and I'm very tempted to go do it. But I've hopped back onto Lego Batman. But I don't know. I think that for the people out there that's watching, listening, I can't recommend this game enough to you. I think it's a real treat, and you know, it's not a full price title. I believe it's not 70, it's 60 quid. But I think that's going to come down in price. I wouldn't be surprised if you get to like July, August, and you start to see that popping up for like 45 quid and below and stuff. But lots of ways to hustle your way around that if you are prepared to do so. But yeah, I just can't wait for the next one. And I'm now wanting to go back and watch Casino Royale. That's basically it. So I think maybe just a wee Daniel Craig session.
Daniel Craig sesh. Aye, just don't watch the second one. What was that one?
Quantum of Solace. It tend to have had like a good one and a stinker, because you had like Casino Royale, good, Quantum, crap, Skyfall, good, but it was just a Dark Knight, Spectre, crap, and then No Time to Die, which was good. It was a good ending for it all. But yeah, I'll still stand by it. Skyfall is just a Dark Knight. You watch those films back to back, and
it's also fucking class as well, though.
It is class. It is class.
What you call him? What's his name? Javier Bardem, given the fucking performance of his life.
What a man!
Between that and No Country for Old Men, that man's just
he's a hero. The stuff that he's hitting out with lately in the circuits, man, like he does get mad respect.
Good.
But I've not watched those films for an age, and I think that's only good if you're doing James Bond.
I think that's doing a lot for it, to be honest with you. Like, I think that because we've had a dearth of James Bond content in movies and stuff as well, like I think that this is filling a space that people wanted to fill. So I think that it's done a really good job of that. You're seeing a lot of calls for Patrick Gibson to take the reins on the thing, which if they can manage it, then yeah, why not? Like, give it to someone a bit unknown, because why do we want? I mean, Henry Cavill's hot as fuck, right? I'm happy to admit that, Liam, but I don't need that man as James Bond, because he's been everything else. You know what I mean? Like he's
also too buff for Bond.
Yeah,
and he's got too much gains going on. Do you know what I mean?
But he could also bust out his shirt and it'd be hilarious.
Reload his arms.
Aye. Reload his tash. But no, I think it's a cool prospect, thinking that they could weave that in. But then again, I think that people who make these movies probably look down on video games a little bit and a bit snobby about it. So that's not coming from a place of, I know that from anywhere. I'm not in the pockets of, you know, big Amazon. But I just, me and Jeff sitting watching fucking James Bond together. But I just think that you're not tap as a tenor, Mr. Beast. I just think that they're probably not going to weave that together. I think it would be too obvious to do that. But this is definitely, you know, up there with the best James Bond games of all time, I'd say.
Easy.
To capture what in such a small period of time, to capture modern James Bond in the way that they've done, and keep it true to what you already know about James Bond, kind of present and past, is an incredible thing. And the fact that they're doing that in a video game as well is just ridiculous. So all power to them, man. It's good.
It's excellent. And like I say, I'm just going to keep it light, because I know a lot of people will be playing it, so I really don't want to just go into any more detail on it, and I don't want to spoil it for you or anybody else, but it's well worth the journey. Well, buy the ticket, take the ride, that's what I say. But Scott, you mentioned you're playing something else. Would you care to share, or can you share anything just now? Probably is the better question.
I believe that it's something that we'll share soon. And by soon, I mean on this podcast very soon, because all plans were dropped for this game. because I realised I had to play it. But it's been played, and I'm excited to talk about that. Games that are on the list for Scott though.
Yeah,
We've also got the Onimusha demo there, ready to go. The way the sword demo,
started it
to,
yet?
I haven't even looked at it. Like, my PlayStation hasn't been on for me
This is
to
a
look
moment.
at it, so I'll get on top of that, and we'll have a look at that. And Lego Batman, I've continued playing that for a wee while, and
Man,
it continues to impress as well. So
it's excellent, but I mean, we might as well we'll stick on it. Doing the same. I've found that the more time I'm spending playing with my son, the more frustrated I'm getting at the experience. Like
welcome.
it's testing me.
Mm.
It's testing me, and I'm not going to lie. Like it's just that whole we mentioned it last week, and I feel like we're just rehashing games for last week. We're not. It's just the big games, and we don't have a lot of time. But um, that experience I thought would get easier for me personally as the co-pilot, I suppose. But Jesus Scott, I mean, I'm so tempted to just like play it in open world sessions only, but it, I feel bad because once they eventually do get it, and it's a case of we solved the puzzle, and it's like cool, but I'm sitting there with like I feel a headache coming on. Like it's just that type of experience, and
Mhm.
it's teaching me, I suppose, to be patient. I don't know if you're still having a similar experience
I've
this week.
not played it with her at all
Yeah,
since last week.
he won.
That's not through. That's not because I've not tried to. When we played something together, we played Tomodachi Life, which I going back to that after a while. All the kind of islanders were raging at us, but
Yeah,
with Batman, it's just like how can you get lost in places in the world that I can't even get to? Like
yeah.
I don't understand it. The camera is now underneath the world, and I don't know how you've managed that. Um, as I say, I just don't get it. I really don't
Yeah,
get it. But I've just been battering through it myself. Like I
yeah,
don't care at
yeah.
this point. Like
I think I'm about 5 hours into it or something because I've been playing it with my son and well at least a different save, but I'm tempted to just like push on and just unlock the other characters and
do it.
just sort of got stuff to do. So probably will, to be fair, because I'm actually a bit clear. Well, I say that I did go back to a game that I stupidly didn't or shouldn't have started before James Bond and that came out, which is I was going to say 007 there. I've got Bond in the brain. It was Octopath Traveler Zero,
Oh,
and it's got me thinking a lot in anticipation for our main topic this week. But playing that on Switch 2, man, and you know, going from like the ROG to the Switch 2, and this week they had announced there's going to be a ROG Ally X2O, and that's got the OLED screen, slightly bigger, all the rest of the bells and whistles. Fuck knows what it costs, probably an arm and a leg. But I'm like, right, okay, obviously that's a new hotness. OLED is obviously the ideal situation, but going back to the Switch 2, it's a pleasant reminder. I was playing Octopath Traveler Zero, and I'm just like, this game is fucking gorgeous. Like, I mean, on this device and handheld, it's just popping off the screen. And yes, if they released an OLED model, it of course would look better. But I'm also like, do you know what? Do I really need that?
no.
I know it doesn't exist, but I'm like, no, I don't really. And the game itself, so much more visually impressive somehow than the previous entries. And it's just hitting that exact kind of cozy JRPG vibe that you're after. The action is excellent. It's just following on what they've did from Octopath Traveler 2. And it's one that I think I'm just going to chip away at in the background because it's perfect for that. So I'm looking forward to getting back to it once I've got a gap. I think the next big game for me on the horizon that I'll drop everything for, unless something came in, was Assassin's Creed Black Flag. So I've in the market, Scott. In the market, flirting with a few games here and there. Obviously, Forza Horizon still on the go, but that is that game for me. But I'll play it in like short bursts. It's like my
Yeah.
Saturday morning game. But Octopath Traveler Zero, man, like if you have a Switch 2, I definitely recommend picking it up on that device because it feels like this game is like, it feels like it was made for it. Like it's just like the perfect experience in the palm of your hands on it. But the power of the sun in the
The
palm of
power
your
of the
hands.
sun in the palm of
Can
your
I,
hands.
this isn't games related, right? But I feel like not enough people talk about this. Eh? Speaking of Alfred Molina or Molina, not sure how you want to pronounce it. Apologies, Al. but there's a show on Netflix that he stars in called The Burbs. Scott, are you familiar with this at all? It's just out in the past couple of weeks.
Heard of it, but I've not watched it.
Right, this is if you're not wanting to play games this weekend, I know, sacrilege on a podcast about video games, please go check out this show. If you're into it, kind of looked like, oh, that's just Stranger Things with OAPs, kind of, but it's a little bit more Spielbergian, and it definitely feels like it was a movie that's just been stretched into a TV series, and it's some of the best TV I have watched in ages. It's heartwarming, it's got a great mystery, the performances and the cast are superb. Get it on. Get it on. That's it. Just a little non-gamer, recommendation for the weekend ahead,
Do you want
Scott.
me to throw you a random Alfred Molina fact whilst we're on the topic, Liam?
Always.
I didn't realise that he plays the dad in Frozen until
Yes,
very recently. So
that's correct.
Anna and Elsa's dad, he is the voice for him.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
I believe it's just Frozen 2, I think it's in.
I don't think it is. I think it's in both.
I'm not sure.
I think it's in both, Liam.
IMDb.
I'm not going to check that. I'm just going to stick to my guns. I'm not doing it. But I know he's the dad in one of them, but I'm not sure about the other.
I think it was just Frozen 2 because I think that was something that it was just Frozen 2. It was Maurice LaMarche who did the character in the original 2013 film, who, if I'm right, is that not Hermes from Futurama?
I recognise the name.
You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure.
I got into a rabbit hole there.
I have. Yous are coming with me now, guys. He's not. He's the voice of Calculon and stuff like that. Stand corrected. Voice of Calculon and Kif, all that as well. Lur from the planet Omicron Persei. So
Don't get him started. Don't get him started.
I know that I'm getting off on a tangent here, but yeah, look. Point is, there's lots of stuff out there. We're in that time of the year where there's just fucking hundreds of games, and it looks like it's going to not get any better anytime soon. But
God.
Choose wisely, people, because we can't play them all, we can't afford them all, and yeah, it's just, my God, we're spoiled for choice. But before I move on to the main topic, Scott, I just want to give one last push to Pixel Reacts. We've got lots going on this week. As I mentioned, State of Play's up. You'll have Summer Game Fest on the Friday night, probably the Saturday, and on Sunday we'll have the Xbox Game Showcase. And if you do enjoy the show and you want to support us, you can. It won't cost you a single penny. So just go to our free Patreon community, visit patreon.com/pixelparents, and you can also subscribe to us on YouTube at youtube.com/@pixelparentspodcast. And one last new one, we're on Reddit as well, r/pixelparents. We're everywhere. We're expanding. The best podcasts you and your mates have never heard of are expanding. So more places to engage with us if you so choose to do so. But it's time to go to the main topic, Scott. So I mentioned Octopath Traveler 0 there. I mentioned playing it on Switch 2, which of course is turning 1 year old the day this podcast goes live. So well done. Yay.
Happy birthday to you. Oh, Switch, it's your birthday. A Michael Jackson song for you.
I know. God, banned on Disney Plus. Get me back on the tangent. But yeah, Switch 2, we didn't get you a cake. For sake. Didn't get you a cake because I ate it. But we thought we'd spend some time this week amidst the chaos that's happening on this show so far, just looking over its first year, the good, the bad, and asking ourselves what we want to see going forward. Scott, if you can check the podcast doc, I've broken this up into little, chunks for us because it's easy to run into the other topics, right? But I think it's good that we pace ourselves because there's a good wee bit to talk about. But I want to start on the year one highlights, Scott. And of course, we've talked about this isn't a console review, right? I want to talk about the damn games, like how we've been using it. But I mean, has there been any standout games? Because I think this is where we will differ right off the bat in terms of, has there been any standout experiences for you in that
for
first
me
year?
On the Switch? Well, yeah, the main reason why I bought the damn thing was to play Hades 2, and that's exactly what I've done. I played that game so much that it became a problem for a while. It was incredible. I mean, I think managing to play that on the Switch, as good as it looked, putting it on Switch 1, on the kind of Hades 1, it always felt a bit like pure wrong. screen was terrible, and the Joy-Cons and all that were key. But actually managing to play this on the Switch 2, sort of day one, I remember walking out of the shop with it. So like, I'm going home and I'm downloading Hades immediately, and I'm getting that shit on the go, and that's exactly what I did, and it was great. That's probably the standout experience from early days of it. As time has gone on, I think that I've bought games for it. So I've bought like Donkey Kong Bonanza, I've bought Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, Pokemon Pocopia is a big one that I had for the year, which took over my life for quite a while, which I think that was great. I'm looking through my purchases. Demon School as well, playing that on there, that was cool. Vampire Crawlers as well, big one. Tomodachi Life, huge one. But what I've found more than anything else, Liam, is that I've used the Switch 2 for Switch Online more than I have anything else.
Yeah.
Like using that to play games like A Link to the Past for the first time, or play through Ocarina of Time for the first time has been an excellent experience, and one that I have been able to do with the Switch 1, and I just didn't want to. Switch 2 feels right for this kind of experience, and yeah, it's been great for it.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot. I mean, I think back to it because when the Switch 2 released, I think it was in the first week I had started a new gig. So it was just like in the midst of the whirlwind. So I remember just like this pop of excitement. And the first game that I got with it was Mario Kart World. And, in hindsight, when I look back to it, it's like I had fun, but, you can't hide it was a disappointment, and it's not to bash the game. You're talking about a game that I would say is like an 8 compared to like a Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which I'd say is be like a 9, potential 10 out of 10 game. And I don't know what it is. It just felt slower. It just felt like kind of weighed down a little bit. The courses and that were great, but then the whole open world stuff. However, I did have some magical moments when that game first entered the house, and still to this day we'll play Mario Kart together as a family, which is something I'm like, do you know what? It might not be my Mario Kart, but it's my family's Mario Kart. That's probably where I'm looking at it, and that's special, I suppose, to me. And that first feeling of, the moment you kind of took the Switch 2 at the box and you've seen the size of it, because obviously we're not getting preview to it, we're just taking a bit of a hit and hope that it's a big boy, which is great. It still feels like it's a grown-up Switch, but the games on it are shining, so that was quickly followed up the next month with Donkey Kong Bonanza, one of my top games of last year, a game that I think on my clock there's nearly 80 hours put into it just now, because it's something my son will still routinely go and bash stuff through, and that's kind of part of what they're kind of going for. They want a game with that replayability, almost like the same guys that made Odyssey. It makes sense. I loved it. I finished it. It was an absolute delight for me start to finish, and a good way to kind of breathe some life back into this franchise they weren't doing much with, to be fair, and they found a new direction, and you can see it kind of going off on that tangent. Then you kind of look through the rest of the year. There's ones that I didn't pick up, but I'm thinking you mentioned there, of course, Pokemon Pocopia this year was huge. Hades 2 is probably the biggest one, because it was just felt like, right, Mario Kart, Donkey Kong Bonanza, then Hades 2 just after the summer was ended. It's like, man, it's hit on hit. And I found that I was playing more of the Switch 2 in this first year than probably what I've played of at least the last 5 years of owning the original Nintendo Switch. And I think that was a great shout you've made about Nintendo Switch Online, because the little updates that they did for like the Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild, all that stuff, it helped me realise it's like, man, the original Switch had no right. That thing was on its fucking knees from the get-go, and we should have put it out as misery. And here's how it should have ran. But then you think about there's other games that I've not touched that I've only had good things about, so I can't really linger up. But Star Wars Outlaws, Hollow Knight Silk Song, stuff like that as well.
Final Fantasy Tactics as well.
Yes, Assassin's Creed Shadows, didn't touch that, but Octopath Traveler 0 is obviously the latest one that I'm just like, this in my mind there's clear Switch games, which is something that I want to sit and really enjoy the handheld experience, unless it's something big and meaty that I can pick up on Xbox and play anywhere. Now I'll do that. but there's other ones like these are all like standout moments. There's ones that I've kind of been slightly let down on, like I mentioned Mario Kart World, but Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, like if they had taken off the last 20% of that game, I'd been like, yes, this is exactly it. But the end of that game, proper, it shits the bed in the end, to be fair. Like, then I can't get away from that. There's other things as well, like out this week, you had Final Fantasy VII Remake, or Rebirth, sorry, should I say, which apparently is running pretty well on it from what I'm hearing, and the remake runs even better. There's still, like, what I'm impressed by is I'm just looking at the games here that I'm not going to get to, let's face it, because money is a finite resource. But there's even be things like, like Mario Tennis and all that stuff as well that didn't get near to. Dispatch is available on the Switch 2 now as
Yeah.
well. Resident Evil Requiem, Blue Prince, all these experiences. I nearly picked up Balatro on it, but I thought, like you said earlier, there's only so many times I can buy that game and get away with it. But it feels like in the first year, like, and I'm moving into now, like, the best surprise moment, or Ball Pit as well. But it feels like in the first year, it's really, we put down here what's the best surprise moment. And I think the surprise for me is that it's holding its own as a technical piece of hardware. And I'm not saying like this is going to run the big meaty games, but the fact that we did get Resident Evil Requiem, Pragmata and stuff like that's on there, but it's not like a complete, IGN breakdown potato mode type thing. That you do get big hits in the moment, like Mixtape, one of the highest rated games of the year. Looking here, Indiana Jones and the Great Circles on it as well.
Like
Cyberpunk, yeah. And it's like, this is something that you would never have thought possible on the original Switch. And if they did try to do it, it is the potato version. And I suppose you've even got like Mina the Hollower as well. But I'm just looking at it. Star Fox is coming this week as well, or this month. I'm just so surprised that it's holding its own, and I'm delighted for it, because going into it, we're talking about, we want the next gen of Nintendo. And that's exactly what it feels like it's delivering. You know what I mean? I feel like it's holding up, but I feel like we're still to really push it. We were talking about this earlier in the week, because over the past week, Call of Duty 4, or Modern Warfare 4 got announced. And I was saying to you how I have a bit of morbid curiosity. I would never pick it up on it, but I'm really interested to see how it runs, because it's almost like this there's a fun intrigue there with the Switch 2. It's like, well, how does it handle on that thing? Because it's complementary to it, because it's such a nice place to play. That's probably the best thing I could say about it. I feel performance-wise, it holds up. That keeps me there. It's reliable. The only downside to performance is that I feel like the battery life is shite. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I've seldom take it out to a place where I need it to have incredible battery life. Like, it's either in the house where I can plug it in, I can play it with it, or I can put it in the dock, and that's fine.
Throne.
Yeah,
Throne scope.
that's true. I'll just take a really long USB-C cable with me. But it's
dropping a big USB-C cable.
dropping a big USB-C. But yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you. The fact that it's a legitimate option for gamers out there, like, I think that when you had the Switch before, it was almost like, we'll play Nintendo licensed game, but we're not going to play anything else because it will run like shite. Whereas the Switch 2 genuinely seems like depending on whether or not it's been, it has been supported by the developers, it genuinely looks like another option for people, which is cool. Like the fact that you can play Pragmata, Resident Evil 9, which they are big chunky games from Capcom. The fact that runs even good on the console is great, you know what I mean? So it's not going to place that I play. I'm not going to be the place that I play it because I have a PlayStation 5 Pro. But if this was the only console that I had and I wanted to try and play them, I would feel no concerns in doing it.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I'm going to get into like where it fits into lives soon, but it's not all been positives. It can't be. Let's be fair. We'll try to kind of answer the question: was it worth it? But areas where it's fell short, Scott, in the first year. Have you noticed any like wee quirks, anything that you were left wanting for with the Switch 2? Like, how have you felt after pretty much a year with this in your hands?
To be honest with you, it's been fine. Like, I've not really noticed anything bad with it. I don't know whether or not that's just the games that I'm playing aren't pushing it to its proper limits. Like most of the shit that I play is either, weird tiny RPGs or smaller titles. Like I tried to play Donkey Kong and I still fucking hate it. And, I played Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 for the 30 seconds that my daughter wanted to play it with me and then never played it again.
Yeah, of course.
So I've not really tested the console out, but there's a guy on my Blue Sky that I think he tests every single game that comes out on Switch to like
Nice.
I think he's built a sort of bespoke sort of tool that he can actually check and see how these games run. I'll try and find his name before we finish, but
Yeah.
it's genuinely something that it's been flawless, like absolutely flawless.
Yeah.
Like no other. It's been so good that I've seen absolutely no issues with it. So I'd be keen to get your thoughts on that though, because you're obviously maybe pushing it a little bit more than I am. So
No, I mean, it's really just to try and look. I mean, listen, there's no such thing as a perfect machine, but this is pretty much as close to as what I'd expect. And I think it's, it feels like Nintendo's finally kind of caught up with the expectation of it. Doesn't feel like a toy. And that's probably the big thing for me is that the original Switch fell short for me, is that it always felt like a toy. And if you go back and hold a Switch now, picture the scene, right? Fucking shovel hands over here, right? I've always engulfed it, the original Switch Joy-Cons, to the point I had to go buy a Pro controller. And that was my default way of playing. And it actually hurt me physically, any prolonged use with the original Switch, it wasn't comfortable. And I know you can get like kind of third-party peripherals and that to help, but I don't like that because they remind me of having like the mad shitey Game Boy Color ones back in the day that didn't really quite work. So I've always kind of went away from that. But the gap wise, it's just like I've been thoroughly impressed. Like all that old Switch hardware, the old Pro controllers, I can use the old Joy-Cons and all that to kind of connect up to open up the party for like Mario Kart, etc. That all works. It does exactly what I need it to, and it's easy. And to the point where like my son can understand how to kind of navigate and turn it on, probably to my own detriment because he'll just want to play everything. But I've been thoroughly impressed with it. I mean, again, my only real bugbear is that I took the advice. It's like, right, you put on like the battery health type thing where you're only charging it to 87%. I'm now noticing it only charges to like 85%. So I'm like, is there already a wee bit of battery degradation in there in the first year? Hope not. But it's because I love playing it in handheld, and it's became just such a part of everyday life for me gaming. And the big test was like Switch 2. I firmly bought this knowing this will be like the family console and I'll be there for the Nintendo exclusives. But I knew immediately there's been a couple of games that I could play elsewhere. And it's like, I'll just put it up on Switch 2. And Octopath Traveler Zero being probably the most recent one.
yeah.
And because I enjoy playing it, like the screen is still so alluring. And there was a lot of complaints about, it's not OLED. But see if it kept the cost down, and if it meant that, more people can get their hands on it without having to pay through the nose like everything else. Not that they're cheap, but it could be so much worse with OLED screen in there. I'm happy, and I think whatever they're doing is wizardry. And that LED screen like that shouldn't be looking that good, but it does. You could fool anybody, be like, is that OLED? It's like there's something crisp and is satisfying, and it does exactly what you need to do. And that might not appeal to the absolute, hardcore of hardcore hardware perverts out there. That's a mouthful. Because I say that because I am one. But I love a bit of OLED, but it's, in terms of the quirks, I don't really have much, man. Like it ticked every box. It feels like a games console. And that's the thing that I think that's the hump they've had to get over for a long time. Even like the kind of silken plasticky feel of it and that is still lasts to this day. I'm not sure if it's quite Cheeto dust proof. I'm not testing the theory.
I'm sure we've got someone we can ask.
Yeah, we can ask somebody. Is it greasy, mate?
Is it greasy, mate? But no, I totally agree with you. It's been made to play games, and play games it does, and more games than ever before, which is good. The person that I was talking about is a guy called Xiphos, so Xiphos on Blue Sky. Basically, every single Switch game that comes out, he's on top of, and he's built this like a digital foundry kind of thing that he can check the frame rates for it and sort of test them out as they come out. So if you're if you're up on your Switch games and you want to see if a game that you like runs well on it, that's your man to go and follow.
There you go.
He's on Blue
Tell him
Sky,
Scott sent you. Tell him
Twitch,
Scott
and
sent you.
YouTube and stuff. Tell us we sent you, because it's interesting to kind of to reach out. But as I say, it's just knowing that this isn't something that we've wasted our money on is a
Yeah.
nice thing, because it could have been just a small upgrade on what the Switch was doing already without this, but it actually feels like a genuine step up
Yeah,
rather
that
than
was
a
a
step
worry.
to the side. So it's good, and that was my main reason for not buying it initially. The
Mhm.
games weren't there for me, and I'd probably say they still aren't yet. That's probably one of my biggest concerns if we're still talking about, the games aren't fully there for me. Like, I'm playing more Switch 1 games on my Switch 2 than I have before.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going back and I'm playing games like Crosscode and Chained Echoes and Wargroove and, playing through things like that, playing through Switch Online games. But the Nintendo properties, like Pocopia was the last big Nintendo game that I picked
Yeah.
up, and it was fucking excellent. But like, I want that again now. Like, I want the next one of those. I'm not going to play Star Fox because I have no love for Star Fox. I don't care. So I need whatever's coming next. If it's the Ocarina of Time remake, then yeah, shoot it right at me. But then what happens next and stuff. But I'm sure we'll get to that.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's a good point, though. It's like it's made playing those games more enjoyable.
Yeah.
If anything, the more time we have the Switch 2, it's making me realise that Switch 1 wasn't actually that great of a machine, but it was a great concept.
Mm-hmm.
And we've often spoken on the show, like, our OG Switches, the longer we had it, the more dust it got. And yes, we'd turn up for the big exclusives, but maybe once a year, if you're lucky, whenever there's like a new Zelda or something like that, I'd pick it up and I'd be quite happy. And that'd be me. And, lucky for them, they were like 80-hour games. So it's like, yeah, cool. But, the worry going in was, how is this going to fit into our everyday gaming lives, which is the next part of this topic. How does it actually fit into our lives? You mentioned, Scott, docked versus handheld. Are you all about the dock, or are you all about the handheld?
I'm probably more 50-50 on it than I ever have been.
Yeah.
With the Switch 1, I was probably more docked, but with this one, if I'm playing it,
Yeah.
I've got it handheld. If I'm playing it with the Wii one, we're playing it docked, so we can both enjoy it on the TV.
Yeah,
And that's sort of how we go about it. But for the most part, yeah, if I'm playing something myself, I want to have a handheld in front of me with the Switch 1 Pro controller, might I add.
Ooh, lovely. I sprung for the Switch 2 one, and I'm glad I did, because my son spilt an ice lolly somehow. Must have been a Calippo all over the Switch 1 Pro controller, so that thing is creamy crackered at this point. But I'm with you, man. But the thing is, if it's the docked, is pretty much it's the family mode for me.
Yeah.
You're right. Like, that's it. But other than that, it's such like a champion of handheld gaming. And to be honest with you, if I didn't purchase the Switch 2 last year, I don't think I would have made the leap into other handhelds.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Or really feel, because it ignited something. It's like, I want more of these experiences on the go. And it sounds daft because it was always there, but the fact that it was better, things run a little better, there's better experiences as a result. And it's like, okay, I see the light, and I feel like the Switch 2 is a bit of a gateway drug. And it's, I've put in notes here, like a travel console. Yeah, I've taken it to work a few times when I had games I just wanted to kind of plug away at. I think Pocopia was doing that at the start of the year. But for me, like, the big question is, I've said to you, has it replaced anything? And I found that Switch 2, for the longest time, it was like, that was my go-to in the house if I'm out and about. Because let's face it, I think many people here that's watching, listening will feel the same. You're not going to sit there, and it's something very different about sitting in front of a television screen or a monitor or whatever it is you're playing against something in your hands. I think it's because we're so accustomed to getting our phones out and stuff like that. So basically what I'm trying to say is, you can get away with handheld gaming if you're around your loved ones in the house or in company, but it's very different to kind of booting up a screen. And I think that's why the Switch 2 it just fit like a glove into the everyday life. But in terms of what it replaced my need for mobile phone gaming. I credit it with helping me get off of the Marvel Snap bug, but what's replaced that, which I'm finding interesting, is what we mentioned at the top of the show, which is PC handhelds, because there's just a few more options. That's the only thing that's killing it just now, because once the ROG came out of the life, it's kind of like, all right, okay, right, I'm just going to go to this version of you with gains. You know what I mean? The big beefy boy over here that's, you know, running all this, and I can play my PlayStation on it and all that stuff. Like, that's effectively 3 consoles in one in the palm of my hands, as opposed to Switch, which is so restricted to just Nintendo, and that's probably the only thing going against it. Because, you know, if you're playing that, it's very limited to just whatever Nintendo's able to get on the platform.
Yeah.
Whereas the PC handhelds, obviously, it's allegedly you can take it as far as you want. But that being said, Scott, I mean, how have you found it? Like, have you found there was a switch of balance, or do you, well, pun intended, but do you think there's you plain think the Switch 2 more or less since you've got your Steam Deck?
I'd probably agree with that, to be honest with you. I think the Steam Deck has come in and been, you know, it's like
New champ.
Aye, the Gap band dropped a bomb on me, but I had to explain that for the viewers because they won't understand it. But,
somebody out there's got that. Somebody out there's got that.
You're welcome. And also, I'm sorry because you'll be singing that forever now. But yeah, I think that the Steam Deck is certainly an option that we never had before.
Yeah.
There's a Nintendo tax on the games that you buy on there that it's just too much to deal with. Like, if I wanted to go and buy certain games on there, I'm paying a tenner more maybe than I'd pay on Steam. But there are definitely things in place with Nintendo, with the Switch store, that have improved it quite substantially. You know, like the Switch store on the actual original Nintendo Switch was unusable. Like there was no point. You would press down and you'd take you about 10 years to get down the page, whereas this is, you know, much quicker and much more responsive. I like the recommendation setting on there as well. So if you want to go on there and it kind of shows you games that you might like, I like that. Yeah, I'm wish listing games more than ever before. I think that having the Steam Deck has definitely taught me that is an option. And I like getting an email telling me that one of my list listed games is on sale, which always gives me a little bit of a buzz when I see it. I'm like, ooh, maybe I'll go and drop a tenner on, you know, Promise Mascot Agency. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. But I'd say that there's definitely been a shift from when I first bought the Switch to having the Steam Deck. Like, the Steam Deck is just here. It is literally right here in front of me.
Yeah.
That if I wanted to play, I could just pull it out right now. Well, not right now because there's no battery in it.
But
the Switch is behind my telly over there, so it's like a bit more of a pain in the arse to get.
Get a walk.
I do. I have to get up on my feet and actually move over there. But to be honest with you, it depends on the day. You know what I mean? Like, tomorrow I might want to play Final Fantasy VI. I can go and play it on the Switch. Tomorrow I might want to continue playing Mina the Hollower or Final Fantasy 13 on the Steam Deck, and I can do that as well. So it's just different flavors for different days. It doesn't. There's no rhyme or reason to it. But I definitely noticed the change initially. You know, brand new toy, fresh thing, emulation and all that, just stepping in. What I will say, Liam, is that the millisecond, and I make this promise to the listeners, the millions and millions of the Rocks fans, that the millisecond level 5 decide to finally fucking drop Professor Layton on this Switch, I'll never play anything ever again. Like, once that's on that console, it's done. You know, give me a collection. If there's a collection comes out for that Switch, you might as well just end this podcast, because I'm never coming back. I'm going to drop into that rabbit hole and I'm never coming back out again. I cannot fucking wait for it to happen, because we need it. What I need now, though, is just the next portion of what's going to be the distraction. You know, like, after Star Fox, what do we have? Because this is the difficulty with Nintendo, is that they never tell you fucking anything. Like, you're always left to the very last second, and then they're like, this game's releasing in 2 weeks. It's like, okay, here's a random night where you've got to watch a shadow drop of a title that's coming out in 3 weeks. It's like, oh, okay. Like,
Yeah,
I just
yeah,
wish there were a bit more. They would communicate it a bit more if it was through their Nintendo news bollocks or online, whatever like that. It just gives us a bit more information about what's coming because it never feels like you know exactly what's happening with Nintendo.
yeah.
It's
It's a bit
always
odd.
just the rumor and leaks, you know, like Jeff Grubb and Nate the Hate are keeping everyone sustained over the last year, so we know what's coming out. But there's this rumored Nintendo Direct next week, I think it is,
Yeah, that's correct.
which will hopefully shed a bit more light. We'll finally see um, the weird fairies from Ocarina of Time. I want to hear their weird noises
Hmm.
all over again, and I'm just excited to see how this all develops. Like when's the next Mario? When's Luigi coming? You know, give me Wario. Give me a
Yeah,
Wario game. Make a Waluigi game while you're at it. Fucking decide to do something with that poor man.
it's definitely time. It's definitely time. Like he's been out the mix for a while, but we do know we get a Zelda project every year. I think it would be just like Nintendo as the Ocarina of Time remake rumors, which we base on nothing. Right, but to be clear, we base this on absolutely nothing. Nobody knows a thing yet. Usually, where there's smoke, there's fire. I wouldn't be surprised if they came out and then did some like weird Nintendo thing, like, oh, we've made a all new sequel to the Link's Awakening remake we did just for the hell of it, and it's like, all right, okay, kind of like echoes of wisdom. Like it's like, oh, we did another one of them, and we'll be like, cool. I was not expecting that. By the way, that runs great on Switch too as well, but it's you just never know what to expect. And you're right, that's probably the annoying thing about them, and they're very much trying to build their own circus tent, whereas everybody else is kind of sharing stages and a different arena.
Yeah,
And I feel like they're kind of going through a moment that PlayStation are kind of just about to drop, because PlayStation, I think, have realising they need to start winning back their with the gamer's identity. I think that's what they're all in play for, whereas Nintendo's kind of going for the Apple light approach, like tomorrow, be there. It's like, fuck's
yeah.
sake, I'm busy, Nintendo. You know what I mean? Can you give us a bit of
All right,
notice? Like,
Nintendo man, fucking. Let me put some makeup on. Be sake.
exactly. And it's always the same every year because of that. That's why you rarely find us doing like a Pixel Reacts to
Yeah.
Nintendo stuff, because it's like, man, like we're in the middle of doing stuff. We can't really do it. And also, most of the time, I can't even watch the Nintendo Directs because they always
It's
do
like
it at like 2 in
$2
the
in the
afternoon.
afternoon. That's a
Aye.
good pain in the ass.
So I'm working here, Nintendo, what are you doing?
Yeah. It's just, but they're always good. That's the thing with the
Yeah,
Nintendo Direct.
yeah.
You always get a good selection of stuff. And you know, I'm hopeful that we get back to that because the last few haven't been great. You know, like as I say, it feels like a weird topic of conversation that we're talking about the first year of Switch 2, and really the only major Switch 2 game that I played this year was Hades, potentially
Hmm. Hmm.
Pacopia, the two of those games. Whereas there's a larger, wider selection of games on there that I've had no interest in. So it's
Yeah.
strange to think about that as a console, but it hasn't dampened my experience. Like I don't feel like that's lessened it. I feel like it's heightened a lot more from what it's done to improve the games that I'm playing as well.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the fact that you managed to play, I don't want to return back to you know the Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. I can't, Liam. I can't give my body to that anymore. I'm Ian Beale in that fucking EastEnders meme.
Nothing
I
left.
genuinely have nothing left for it.
I've got nothing left.
But I want to. Yeah, it's the problem. Like
Yeah.
I want to because it is a genuine improvement to it. Nintendo Switch 2 additions to games are incredible. Soul
Mhm.
Calibur 2 is on there as well. So it's like
Oh,
it's
God.
given me more than I've asked for. But it's just that it's maybe not it's not from Nintendo. You know what I mean? It's from other places that have made that experience more
Yeah.
worthwhile for me. But that's not to say it's been bad. Like, you know what I mean? It's like an 8 out of 10, a 9 out of 10 for its first year. I think it's been fucking class for
Yeah.
Nintendo.
Yeah, it
Um,
has been. It has
because
been.
there's less bumps in the road than there are. There's more straight road than there are bumps. But aye, it's just exciting. Like year two, what next? It's just aye.
Yeah. Well, that's a good bit. Lovely segue into the next part. But we've got here, like, we're just going to do three wee things for what we think year two needs, Scott. So we'll each take a turn. But the first one here is one must-have game you'd like to see in Switch 2. What do you think it needs for you? Just the one.
For me, I would like Chrono Trigger on there, Liam. I want a Chrono Trigger remake.
Nice.
I think that would be the place that I would buy it as well. Like,
yeah,
it would come out on like a PlayStation or an Xbox and stuff, but I'd buy it on Switch.
That's actually a really good shout. That actually, I think for me, like a must-have game, and I'm trying to steer away from like a remake or something like that, or something else that's come, like Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta or something like that. Not that I would say that. For me, I think for a must-have game for Year 2, what would feel right is I'd love them to bring back Luigi's Mansion. Like Luigi's Mansion 4, I think that's just like the perfect type of game whilst they're cooking up, obviously, like another big mainline Mario. I don't think we get that now. I think we're probably going to get that a few years down the line. And also, the next Zelda outside of remakes is a long time away. So, if that's to be, if Ocarina of Time remake is true, and that will probably come to define this second year of it. But in otherwise, let's get Luigi out the cupboard. I mean, let's get the spotlight on him again. Luigi's Mansion 3 was a delight. I'd love to see that back, and I think Luigi's so hot right now because of the films. So it's
just
quite good to see that.
Man. He's just hot in general.
The better of the Mario brothers. So that's that one. What about one feature improvement you'd like to see, Scott, in Year 2?
One feature improvement.
Mm-hmm.
I don't use the capture feature. I want to be able to post screenshots directly to my social media rather than on the fucking Switch app. There you go. Pulled that fucking out my fanny. I couldn't figure out what I was trying to think there, but managed to I can rip that out.
That's an excellent shout. Excellent shout. To be fair, I probably would match that. Outside that, I'd probably say YouTube. It sounds daft. Like I quite like YouTube on that. Just a way to kind of snap between stuff. The kind of the same way like you're doing on the Xbox or the PlayStation. So it's like even if you were needing a guide or something like that, you could just like quickly press home button, look at the YouTube video, go back to the game, that type of stuff, and it might have the capability to do it. Last one here, Scott. One bold Nintendo swing. This is just your wild card that Nintendo can do to make Switch 2 as exciting and as glorious as possible. Could be a game, could be something else.
God. The Halo Master Chief Collection on Switch. Not that I want it, I don't care, but I think that it would be hilarious to have bigger Xbox titles because PlayStation isn't going anywhere near it. I think it would be hilarious to have some of the Xbox titles on there. Throw a Forza Horizon in there. Give me Halo. Put Gears of War on there. Do you know what I mean? Like, you could do that. Get it done. Fucking Mr. Nintendo. I'm not going to buy it, as I don't care, but I think it would be a hilarious conversation.
Well, you've already bought it enough. That's why, you've bought it about 6 times at this point, Scott.
What, Halo?
You love John Halo.
John Halo. Mr.
For me,
Chief.
Mr. Chief to us, aye. For me, the big, bold Nintendo swing, and this is one that will please you greatly, is if they announce and they just have to make an announcement. But I think Year 2 would get the pop it needs a new Super Smash Brothers. I think that's something that could be mental enough just to breadcrumb into year 6 because that's been donkeys away. But
it's going to be a mile away, aye.
But yeah, I think it needs to come out with a heavyweight, and it's either going to be the next Zelda, which we're not going to get, mainline Mario, not going to get because that crew have just put out Bonanza. It's Smash Brothers. You know what I mean?
Makes sense.
That's it. You know what I mean? I think
just put out Sakurai. Is it Sakurai? Just put out fucking Kirby's Air Riders.
He did indeed, and the world moved on. So I think ultimately to answer the question from the very start, right, is Switch 2 for me, was it worth it? I would say yes, it is. I think particularly for our audience, because if we look against the backdrop of this first year, that big tangerine rapist has absolutely made the price of everything skyrocket. So as all as we tech bros and big Silicon Valley, all these rotters. And I think if you're looking at a good new console to invest in, yes, we'll sing the praises of like the Steam Deck, the in my case, the Rogue Allies. I wouldn't recommend the Rogue Ally X because of the price point. The Steam Deck is about to go up in price again, which makes it a difficult recommendation despite its brilliance. So the next thing, if you want something that's accessible, that all the family can play as well, very easily, and you've got a very, very impressive and handsome suite of games. Switch 2, was it worth it? Is it worth it? My answer is undoubtedly yes. Undoubtedly yes. I don't know if you have anything to add or oppose.
I think that, year one, there is enough games there to satisfy you if you've not picked it up. There's going to be enough games there to keep you busy. And then the next few months, there are going to be even more games.
Mm-hmm.
One that I failed to mention, Liam, which has hurt my soul a little bit because I hadn't brought it up, was Fire Emblem. The bringing that back out. I played that all on my original Switch before I had the Switch 2, and I wish I hadn't. I wish I'd played it on Switch 2 because it would have been great. Playing 3 houses on there, but the next Fire Emblem game is going to be the first one that I'm going to enjoy day one, and I can't wait to be fucking in on the ground floor on that. But yeah, I think that if you are looking at it thinking, should I not, there's enough on there to keep you busy. So get on board, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's probably the best launch point of the next gen just now, to be fair, and it can hold its own, and it's an exciting time to be a Switch 2 owner or potential owner, I would say. But let us know, if you've got a Switch 2, have you picked one up over the last year? Have you enjoyed it? Has it been worth it? Do you feel like it's been absolutely shengus? Let us know in the comments below. Always good to hear from you. But we'll move on, Scott, as we kind of approach the end of this week's episode. So I need to G myself in my seat. My arse is asleep. But
I have to do that every so. I sit in my foot as we record, Liam.
Yes.
I don't know why I do it, right? I think it's just since I've been a child, it's something that I've done for a very long time. But after the injury, I can no longer sit on that foot. So I have to sit on my left foot, and I don't like it. So then I put my right foot up again, and it hurts all the time. So I always forget because
getting old's a bitch, man.
I'm a fucking idiot. So that's me moving again.
Yeah, but whilst you move and get some blood back in that foot. We did last month launch the Pixel Pix Replay, which is our video game book club, where we've invited everybody to join us as we replay the top 100 video games of the Pixel Pix list. Now, last month, we select a game at random, just one game. We're getting together at the end of the month, just have a wee retrospective chat and update, just to see if we've rediscovered anything, what made these games special. So May, the first month, the Pixel Pix Replay was Bayonetta. Scott, how did you find returning to this classic game?
Tell me a game that you could never make again, Liam. The opening of this game is just outrageous.
Insane.
And, it gets even more mental as the whole game goes on. That this woman's clothes are hair, which is mad. And it comes off at points, it's like,
it certainly does.
And at certain points she approaches, she aims herself at the camera lewdly, and a little camera thing goes off. It's hilarious every single time it happens. But I'm not gonna lie, I fucking loved going back to Bayonetta. It has been excellent. It's been a fucking roller coaster ride of actually getting back into like character action games for the first time. I feel like since Ninja Gaiden, was it 4 last year, that it didn't really hit the mark for something, right? And Bayonetta showed me that this is like a benchmark title for what these games should and could do. It is batshit fucking crazy from moment one. Platinum Games, Kamiya were on something else at this point. And Fly Me to the Moon has never sounded better. It's just insane. Every single chapter I finished with a smile on my face because I was just enjoying getting in there, getting the combos up, watching the combo meter rise, linking punches and kicks together and shooting the guns and all that. Then you've got your tortured attacks, so you put them in this big fucking that big case thing, and it goes like that. So I'm holding a brush. You put them in this big case, or you put them in a guillotine or something and chop their heads off, and it's just like, what the hell are we doing here? She can sometimes summon big birds to kill bosses. It's like,
Yeah.
why not just do that every time then, Bayonetta? Why
It,
not? But it's it was incredible. It
yeah.
was absolutely incredible. How did you find it?
I found it like I picked it up on the at the time when it went live. Obviously, we'll pick the next game after this, and it's just in a big massive wheel. But it was fortunate because it was on sale. I remember saying to you, "Oh, it's on Steam. I might pick it up, but I'll just wait." Stupidly, it ended, but I picked it up on Xbox for a fiver, and I think it was like they must have did a HD remaster of it.
Yeah.
Didn't realize that, so that was good because I was going to have to find other means to play it otherwise. But regardless, going back to it, I mean, it's such an unhinged time of a game, but it's so much fun. Like it's like a white knuckle ride,
Hmm.
and absolutely not something you should play around your significant other
No.
because you might be accused of being a pervert. Because I was sweating, and it was just around about the infamous opening scene, and obviously she's there in the graveyard and stuff like that. And I'm just like, oh God, it's going to happen. Like she's going to bust out that costume in a minute. Like distract. And, you just get into the swing of it. And it doesn't really calm down at that point in a
No.
good way. Like if you're wanting something that is just high octane, filled with action, but it makes sense, but at the same time kind of doesn't. This is definitely something that is well worth being on this list as a replay. I'm so glad it's on there as the best character action game because that is it in a nutshell. Like
Hmm.
she's absolutely oozing personality. She's memorable. Fucking guns in her shoes, and that's always remembering when I was playing this. The fact I remember when Bayonetta, the preview cycle before it came out, in games magazines, and that was the thing. It's like, this is Bayonetta. She has guns in her shoes, and even reading it, you're like, what? And obviously, you go play it, and it's like, yeah, she certainly has that, but everything about it, it reminded me so much of something that we'd rarely see in games these days. Just that little bit of kind of goofy, unhinged humour that's kind of laden throughout it. That's probably kind of came and went and died a little bit. Oddly enough, during the era it came out, that HD
Yeah.
era, and it all kind of went a wee bit grim, dark, Nolan-y instead. And I feel like we've kind of lost that because there's a very difficult thing to do to stick the landing here.
Hmm.
Like you can be like something um, mega goofy. I can't remember the name of that game, Scott, one with the Grim Reaper. Was it Let It Die?
Yes.
Take something like that, which is going for not the exact same tone, but something that is a wee bit more off the walls, and you can't stick the landing. And there's been many pretenders since, but there's a reason why Bayonetta keeps on coming up in the conversation and gets added onto it. And the actual moment to moment gameplay still satisfying, still a hell of a lot of fun, still addictive, and it's exactly what you want. I mean, it's the best game you could probably play this side of Devil May Cry. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah,
That's what I found.
1,000%. That was in my notes, to be honest with you. Is it playing it, even just when you're running around some of the levels, is like, this is just evoking the first Devil May Cry game
Yeah.
more than anything else. You know what I mean? So, even Devil May Cry 2, which I know, sacrilege, but there is a bit of Devil May Cry 2 in there. It's just incredible. You know what I mean? Like Platinum, I know that they're not doing. Are they still in existence now? Or were they fucked?
No, nothing.
They're
Still
fine.
going platinum, yeah.
Um,
Believe
there's a
so. I'm not
reason
going to
why their
double check.
games. There's a reason why their games do so well. I think the Camilla left, so I think he's obviously back doing what you call it, Okami, with that weird studio. I think it's like Flower Studio or something. I can't remember, but Platinum have some of the best character action games that you know and love, and Bayonetta is just the fucking greatest example of how to do it. The fact that this is our first attempt at something like this, and the fact that it fucking hits the ball straight out of the park from that first moment, it's
Yeah,
just outrageous. All the characters are larger than life. Bayonetta herself is larger than life, and you've got Jean, who she's also larger than life as well. And that continues all down the line. It's just, you've got is it the gates of hell or something like that, where you go to the bar and you
yeah,
can go and upgrade yourself. You're finding, like, I didn't realize in my first playthrough of it that you find LPs and that's how you unlock other weapons. So the first time I ever played this game, I played it with only the guns, not
mhm,
realizing that you had like a sword, or you had like the Durga with the two hands and stuff like that. It's mad. Like, it's
yeah,
just the fact that you have all this individuality, this creativity, and that just extends into the combos that you're creating is wild. And those combos, Liam, man, like when you manage to pull off one of those witch time dodges and you
Oh
can just
man.
get right in there and start just fucking knocking fuck out these guys, it's like seeing that life go down on the bosses. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
this is why we're here for this. My one great criticism for it, and it's a criticism shared by I think pretty much every single person who's ever played Bayonetta, is if I never have to do one of those quick time events ever again in my life, I
Yeah.
will be happy, because I died about 7 times on the first one because you have to
Yep.
press it exactly when the circle closes. And I just kept on dying. That's my only criticism. It is also hard as well. Like some of
Yeah.
it's like
No.
getting killed by random enemies. It's like fucking hell, man. Like help me out here. But
It's challenging, you know. I pushed the difficulty down at one point on it because I'm like I'm just wanting to just kind of go and just float through and have a good time, and luckily it does still do that because it can kick your ass. But I mean, it's definitely reminded me, like, you know, there's so much value to be found in all these old games. I mean, we spend a lot of time talking about the new stuff, but I mean, going back, and I'm actually really enjoying the fact that we're doing this replay because I'm really looking forward to what's up next. But
it's opened up something that I think both of us would admit we don't do enough of, is that go back and enjoy these titles. Like I would never have played Bayonetta ever again, I don't think. So it's kind of
yep,
forcing you
yep.
to go back and play it, which I think I'd probably do a bit more of, which is cool. So I'm excited to see what comes up next, Liam, because I'm choking to see where that game's going to be.
Yeah, yeah. Well, as we mentioned, you know, it is the start of a new month, so we've entered what's remaining from our top run 100 into the machine. So Bayonetta's taken out. So I'll just get the wheel up here. But again, don't let it stop you. If you want to, if we've got you in the mood for Bayonetta, go play it. But here we go. For June 2026, our Pixel Pix replay game is, okay, the wheel is spinning.
Oh god, I'm nervous.
The tension. The Pixel Pix replay game is Tetris Effect.
God.
Tetris Effect, Scott.
Okay,
Cool. I'm happy with that. I am happy with that.
I've never played it, so that'll be a fun experience.
Oh, you're in for a treat. You're in for a treat, sir. But yeah, there you go. So we're inviting everybody to join in, play this month, and at the start of next month, like before we just did there, we'll discuss in detail. And we want your thoughts. So if you can, go over to patreon.com/pixelparents, r/pixelparents, to share your thoughts on your replay. Or email us.
Every single time you say r/, it sounds like you're saying arse.
r/.
It takes me a millisecond to realise it.
There'll be people out there just like, man, you definitely said r/. What is this filth? You know what I mean? It's just this very, very violent website that they're getting presented with. But yeah, if you can, just go there, email as well, at pixelparentspodcast@gmail.com. Leave a comment on YouTube. We're going to just put up the Pixel Pix replay announcement on our socials and all that as well. We'll pin it on the Reddit pages and Patreon. So there's a place to go to if you are replaying. And we'll remind you each week as well that we're doing that. But Tetris Effect, Scott, I'm really excited about that. Again, like you said, it's something that I probably wouldn't be having that on the radar to go back, but it's definitely one. Turn the lights off, get the headphones on, and just let it enter your very soul. It also reminds me I've still got like lots of Luminous Arise to go back and play, which I picked up a few months ago. But Tetris Effect, man, what a game. Looking forward to that. But on that note, it does bring us to an end to this week's podcast. So thank you once again for joining us. And remember, go support small independent games made out there. So if you like what you hear and you enjoy the show, please, if you can, give us a share on social media. Tell your pals about us, or as I said last week, tell your Doug. But if you can, leave a wee 5-star review. Follow us on Spotify as well. It all helps us out and it makes a massive difference. And of course, as I mentioned, go to the free Patreon community, patreon.com/pixelparents, and support the show for free. Scott, it is test time. Where can people find you online if they wish to discuss your journey with Tetris Effect?
Tetris Effect. I can tell you how it's affecting me. I'll be on Blue Sky, llamaman.bsky.social, just fucking shitting out hot cake for the rest of my life.
Indeed, that's the only way to describe it. Me, I'll be spitting bars at carmelite.bsky.social. Want to give a massive thank you to our producer and music man, very talented and handsome Mr. Sean Murray. So go show him some sweet nasty love. And check out his work on Instagram at barehandsdesigns and barehandsdesigns.com. I have broken Scott, but you can listen to the next episode on all major podcast platforms and follow us on Blue Sky at pixelparents.bsky.social. Of course, write to us at pixelparentspodcast at gmail.com. Wherever you are, like, share, subscribe, and please play some damn games. Until next time, stay safe, stay sane, and thanks for listening.
Do it for Jeff Keighley, Liam.
We'll be having what? Hot cake.
Hot cake.